Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do the single crochet stitch. I'm also going to be showing you how to create foundation chains, how to make a slip knot, and also how to fasten off. Alright, so to do a slip knot, the easiest way I found to show somebody else is to hold the tail of the yarn in your right hand if you are right-handed, and hold the other part of the yarn with your left hand. So if you are left-handed, you can do this in the opposite direction. So wrap the yarn around your pointer finger once and twice, and then bring the yarn that's at the back over to the front, and then bring the yarn that's now at the back over your finger, over and off your finger, and then pull to create a knot and to secure the knot over there. Then you can take your crochet hook and put that in the loop you've just created, and then pull your working yarn. I'm going to be calling this the working yarn and this the tail. So pull your working yarn to kind of make that loop a bit smaller, and make sure it's nice and loose so that your yarn can move up and down your crochet hook pretty easily. You don't want it too tight, so just leave a bit of a space between the yarn and the hook, and then you are ready to crochet. To start crocheting, you have to hold the yarn in a certain way. So if you are right-handed, you'll be holding the working yarn in your left hand. If you are left-handed, do everything in the opposite direction. So what I do is I wrap the working yarn around my pinky and then around my pointer like this. So I'll do that again, around my pinky and then around my pointer. So what you want to do is kind of create tension between the hook and the working yarn, because that's going to allow you to work your crochet. Also, you hold the tail of the yarn in your thumb and your middle finger, and then you can kind of support with your other fingers to create tension between the hook and also the tail. So you want tension between the tail and the hook and also the working yarn and the hook. So that's how we do it. That's how we create the tension, and the tension is going to help us to work. Right, so this is the head of the crochet hook, this is the throat, and this is the shaft. So I'm going to be using those terms to kind of guide us through. To start, we're going to be creating foundation chains, and to do that, maintaining that space, we yarn over. So put the yarn over the hook, kind of place it in the throat over there, keeping that tension, so holding everything, tension between the working yarn and your hook, and also the tail and your hook. So yarn over, put that yarn in the throat, twist your crochet hook, and then pull it through that loop. And that's the first foundation chain. So I'm going to do that again. So yarn over, yarn in the throat of the crochet hook, twist the yarn, making sure you've got room over here to pull this through, and then pull through, and that's the second foundation chain. I'm going to do that again, and as you work, you want to keep moving your thumb and your middle finger up to keep that tension between the hook and the tail of your work. So again, yarn over in the throat, twist and pull through, and that's the third. So you use that to kind of create as many foundation chains as you need for the project that you are working. So I'm going to just keep doing that. I'm going to do around about 15 foundation chains, and you want to keep kind of moving your left hand along to kind of allow more yarn to come off for you to work with. So if I move my fingers, my left hand, you'll kind of see what I'm doing. It's kind of easier for you to see it than for me to explain it. So I'm just going to keep going, and when I need to, you'll see me kind of move my left hand to get that yarn, to get more of that yarn like that. Yeah. So yarn over, keep going, keep making those foundation chains. And how you know what your foundation chains are, or to kind of identify your foundation chains, they kind of look like V's. So you'll see that there's a V here, there's another V here, so that's how you count them. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So I've got 13, that's fine. So you want to kind of make sure your chains are nice and loose, so not too tight. You want them nice and loose for your crochet hook to be able to fit back and work through those chains. All right, so what we're going to be doing is single crochets, so we can see all of those chains. What we're going to now do is work back into the foundation chain. So this loop on the hook doesn't count, it's just a working loop. We don't count that as a chain, so we're going to work back into the chain. So we're going to work into the second chain from the hook. So this is not a chain, we're going to work one chain. This is a V, 1, 2. We're going to work in the second chain from the hook. So we're going to go in there in the top strand of the chain, so the top of the V. So this is the V and this is the top of the V. We're going to work in here. So we're going to go in, we're going to keep that tension, yarn over in the throat, twist, pull through, keeping that tension between the tail. So the bottom is what I'm calling the tail, and the top, and this is the working yarn. So keeping the tension between the tail and the hook, and also between the working yarn and the hook. So the tension is going to help us pull through these two loops on the hook. So yarn over, get it in the throat, twist, pull through the two loops. So this chain has now been stretched. That's the one we just worked into. So we're going to work in the next one. So that's go into the top V, yarn over, pull through. Now we have two loops on our hook. We want to make sure they come down the shaft, not up here, because then the loops are going to be too small. So we want to make sure the loops are down the shaft when we yarn over. That's going to give us enough room to pull through two loops. Again, go into the top V, yarn over in the throat, twist, pull through. We've got two loops, bring those down, making sure they are the right size. So the crochet hook is what's giving us the size of the loop, so we want to make sure we bring it down the shaft. So yarn over in the throat, twist, pull through. So we're just going to keep doing that until we get back to where we started. It can be a little bit fiddly when you're working into foundation chains, but that's fine. Just make sure you're working into the top of the V and maintaining that tension, and it should be fine. And once you have a couple of rows of your work, it gets a lot less fiddly. So now I'm going to work into the last foundation chain, which was the first one we created. So I'm going to go into that foundation chain, into the last one, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through again. So that's the end of the first row. So to do another row, what we do is bring that down to the shaft. We always make sure we bring it down to the shaft to make sure that our stitches are all the same size. So we yarn over and chain one. That's going to be a turning chain, and then we turn our work. So now we're going to work single crochet stitches all the way down this row, and we're going to start in the first stitch. So to identify the first stitch is the first V. So it's not the chain that you just made, it's the first V that has a space underneath it, and that's what we're going to work into. So you're going to put your crochet hook into that stitch space. It's going to look like you've got 3 loops on your hook, so you want to be able to see the middle of that V. So you're going to have 3 pieces of yarn on your hook right now. You're going to yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. That's a single crochet stitch. Again, we've got the V stitch over here. That's the V. We've got the space under there, and that's what we want to work into. In there, yarn over in the throat, twist, pull through, 2 loops down the shaft, yarn over, pull through, another single crochet. Again, one last time, we've got the V right here. We've got the space underneath. We work into that space. Got the V on the hook, yarn over in the throat, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So I'm going to keep doing that until the end. So now I've got my last stitch to work into. I know that because I can see the V over here. and I'm going to work into the space underneath that V. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it's right there. So hook in there. We want to make sure we've got both onto the hook, both strands of the stitch, so they make a V. We want to make sure we've got both of them on. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. Again, we chain one and then we turn to carry on, and that's basically it. We just carry on doing that. So we work into the stitch space in here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the stitch space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Into the stitch space, yarn over, pull through 2. In there, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and we do that until we get to the end. So I'm going to show you how to fasten off, so I'm going to meet you at the end. All right, so that's our single crochet. We've done 2 rows, and that's basically you just carry on repeating the same thing until you finish your work. You can do however many rows you want to complete your project, and when you get to the end, what you want to do is cut your yarn, leaving a decent tail for you to weave in, and then you just chain 1 and then pull that tail all the way through and do that to kind of fasten off. And what you want to do is use a tapestry needle to weave your ends in. So like that, you kind of thread the needle, and your tail is nice and long, so that allows you to kind of work easily. So you just go into the back of your work, or into any side really, to be honest, and then you just kind of go through those stitches, go through the center of those stitches like that. Come through. You don't want it too tight, so you just want to do it a bit loose. So you don't want to pull this too tight. So what I usually do is just hold on to this to make sure it doesn't get too tight. And then you want to skip so this was the last stitch that I pulled through, so I'm going to skip that one and kind of go back in the other direction to make it nice and secure. And then I'm going to bring it out. I'm not going to take it all the way to the end. I'm just going to stop right there. Again, I'm going to hold here just to make sure I don't pull it too tight. I'm going to pull that through, making sure it's not too tight, just nice and secure there. And then I'm going to clip this off. And that's all done. And then you do exactly the same thing to this starting tail. If you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button and also to subscribe to my channel. This helps push this content out to other people who might like it. Thank you guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.